If you are over 60, what I'm about to tell you could save your life. Because right now, your arteries could be silently clogging, and you wouldn't even feel it. No pain, no warning, no second chance. And here's the terrifying part. Most people only find out when it's already too late, when a heart attack strikes without warning. But what if I told you that what you believe about cholesterol might be completely wrong? And this misunderstanding is quietly putting millions of seniors at risk every single day. I'm Dr. Danzy, and you're watching Dr. Danzy Senior Health Tips, where we uncover the hidden truths about your heart, truths that most people never hear until it's too late. Now listen carefully, because this could change how you see your own body. For years, you've probably been told one simple thing: cholesterol is bad, avoid it at all costs. But what if that's not the full story? In fact, a recent study involving over 2,000 adults above the age of 60 found something shocking. Nearly 68% of those with heart attacks had normal cholesterol levels. Let that sink in. Normal cholesterol, yet still a heart attack. So what's really going on inside your body? Here's the truth most people don't understand. It's not just cholesterol. It's what cholesterol is doing inside your arteries. Imagine your arteries like smooth, flexible pipes, carrying blood, oxygen, and life to every part of your body. Now imagine those pipes slowly getting narrower, tighter, clogged with sticky deposits. This is what we call blocked arteries. And once this blockage crosses a certain point, your heart is in danger. But here's where it gets even more dangerous. This process doesn't happen overnight. It builds slowly, silently, over years. You could be walking, talking, living your normal life, while inside, your arteries are tightening like a noose. And most people ignore the early signs. They think, I feel fine. But this is exactly where the deadly mistake begins. One of my patients, a 67-year-old man, came to me for a routine check. He had no chest pain, no weakness, nothing unusual. In fact, he told me he felt healthier than ever. But something didn't feel right. So we ran a deeper scan. What we found shocked even him. More than 70% blockage in one of his major arteries. 70%. At that level, a heart attack can happen at any moment. And he had no idea. Now ask yourself, could this be happening to you? Because here's what most people don't realize. Blocked arteries don't always give loud warnings. Instead, they whisper. A little fatigue, slight shortness of breath, maybe a strange heaviness after walking. Small signs, easy to ignore. But ignoring them can cost everything. And here's where things get even more dangerous. Many seniors believe that if they just avoid fatty foods, they're safe. But what if I told you that some of the foods you think are safe are actually making things worse? Yes, this is where the truth becomes uncomfortable. Because not all cholesterol is the enemy. Your body actually needs cholesterol. It helps build cells, produce hormones, keep your system running. But the real danger comes when cholesterol becomes damaged, oxidized, and starts sticking to your artery walls. And this happens because of something most people never think about: inflammation. Chronic inflammation turns cholesterol into a dangerous substance. It's like turning soft wax into hardened glue, sticking inside your arteries. And once this process starts, it accelerates fast. A study of 1,500 seniors showed that those with high inflammation levels had nearly 2x higher risk of artery blockage, even if their cholesterol levels were normal. So now the question is, what's causing this inflammation? And this is where most people make a deadly mistake. They focus only on cutting cholesterol, but ignore the real triggers. Processed foods, hidden oils, certain daily habits that quietly damage your blood vessels. And the worst part? These habits feel normal. You've been doing them for years, maybe even decades. But your heart has been paying the price, silently. Let me tell you something that might surprise you. There is one common food, something many people consume daily, that can actually worsen artery blockage over time. And almost nobody suspects it. But we'll come to that in a moment. Because first, you need to understand something critical. Your blood flow is everything. When your blood flows freely, your heart works effortlessly. But when blood flow slows down, even slightly, your heart has to pump harder, work longer, struggle more. And over time, this strain can lead to heart failure. Yes, heart failure doesn't happen suddenly. It builds step by step, day by day. And poor blood flow is one of the biggest hidden triggers. One of my patients, a 72-year-old woman, came in complaining of fatigue. She thought it was just age. But after evaluation, we found her blood flow was significantly reduced. Her heart was overworking, trying to compensate. She wasn't just tired. Her heart was struggling. And this is happening to thousands of seniors right now, without them realizing it. But here's the good news. This process can be slowed down. In some cases, even partially reversed. But only if you act early. And only if you understand what truly works and what doesn't. Because most advice out there is incomplete. And some of it is dangerously misleading. So before I reveal the simple food that could help support your arteries and improve blood flow, I need you to do one thing. If you care about your heart, if you want to protect yourself and your family, take a moment right now and subscribe to Dr. Danzy Senior Health Tips. Because the information I share here is designed to help you stay one step ahead of silent heart damage. And trust me, what you're about to learn next could completely change how you look at your daily diet. Because coming up, I'm going to reveal the hidden food that may be clogging your arteries faster than you think, and the one simple addition that could support better blood flow naturally. But be careful, because this is where most people get confused and end up doing the exact opposite of what their heart actually needs. And that mistake can be fatal. Now here's where things take a turn, because what I'm about to reveal goes against what most people have believed for years. You've probably been told to avoid fats completely, to stay away from anything that even sounds like cholesterol. But what if I told you that one of the biggest triggers of blocked arteries is not what you think it is? In fact, a study of over 1,800 seniors found that those who consumed certain low-fat, packaged foods daily had a 62% higher risk of artery blockage. Yes, low-fat. Sounds shocking, right? But when you look closer, it starts to make sense. These so-called healthy foods are often loaded with hidden chemicals, processed oils, and artificial ingredients that create inflammation inside your body. And remember what I told you earlier. Inflammation is what turns cholesterol into a dangerous substance. It's the spark that starts the fire. So even if your cholesterol levels look fine, if inflammation is high, your arteries are still at risk. This is where most people make a critical mistake. They focus on numbers, but ignore what's happening inside their blood vessels. And that mistake builds up silently. Now let me ask you something. How often do you eat packaged snacks, refined oils, or reheated foods? Because these everyday habits might be quietly slowing your blood flow, making your heart work harder every single day. And over time, this leads to something even more serious. Plaque buildup. This is when fatty deposits, mixed with damaged cholesterol, stick to your artery walls. At first, it's small, barely noticeable, but as months pass, it thickens, hardens, narrows your arteries, and suddenly, your blood can't move the way it used to. This is how a heart attack begins, not in a moment, but over years of silent buildup. One of my patients, a 70-year-old man, lived what he thought was a healthy lifestyle. He avoided fried foods, chose low-fat options, and followed common advice. But he also consumed a lot of processed snacks and reheated oils without realizing the damage. When we checked his arteries, there was significant blockage. He was shocked. He said, "I did everything right. But this is the problem." He followed outdated advice. And his heart paid the price. Now here comes the part most people never hear. There is one simple, natural food that can actually support your body in dealing with this problem. It doesn't work like a magic pill, but it helps your system function the way it was designed to. It supports better blood flow, reduces harmful buildup, and helps protect your arteries over time. And that food is garlic. Yes, something so simple, so common, yet so powerful. But wait, before you dismiss this, let me explain why. Garlic contains compounds that help reduce inflammation, the root cause of artery damage. It also supports the flexibility of your blood vessels, allowing blood to flow more freely. In a study of 1,200 adults over 60, those who included garlic regularly in their diet showed up to 25% improvement in blood flow markers over a few months. Now think about that. Better blood flow means less strain on your heart. Less strain means lower risk of heart failure over time. But here's the catch. Most people use it the wrong way. And this is where another big mistake happens. Cooking garlic at very high temperatures or using it in heavily processed forms can reduce its effectiveness. So the benefit becomes weaker. Instead, small amounts of fresh garlic, used properly, can make a difference over time. But don't misunderstand me. This is not a miracle cure. It's part of a bigger picture. Because if you keep making the same harmful mistakes, no single food can protect you. And this is where things get serious again. Because there are still hidden dangers most seniors don't even think about. For example, did you know that poor blood flow doesn't just affect your heart? It affects your brain, your energy, even your ability to walk comfortably. When circulation slows down, your entire body suffers. You feel tired, weak, drained, even after a full night's rest. And many people accept this as normal aging. But it's not. It's a warning sign, a signal that your body is struggling, and ignoring it only makes things worse. Another patient of mine, a 74-year-old woman, came in with constant fatigue and slight chest discomfort. She thought it was just stress, but tests showed early signs of restricted blood flow. We made simple changes, improved her diet, reduced inflammatory triggers, added supportive foods like garlic. And over time, her energy returned. Her heart function improved. But imagine if she had ignored those signs. That's the difference between prevention and emergency, between control and crisis. Now here's something most people don't realize. Your arteries have the ability to adapt, to heal, to improve, if you give them the right support. But if you keep exposing them to damage, they will eventually fail. And when they do, the consequences are severe. Heart attack, heart failure, sudden collapse. And often, it happens without warning. So the real question is, what are you doing today that your heart will pay for tomorrow? Because every meal, every habit, every choice is either helping your blood flow or hurting it. And in the next part, I'm going to reveal something even more important. A hidden daily habit that silently damages your arteries faster than food itself. Most people do it every day without thinking, and stopping it could dramatically reduce your risk. But be careful, because once you hear this, you'll never look at your routine the same way again. Now, this is the part most people never expect, because the biggest threat to your heart may not be what you eat, but what you do every single day without thinking. And once you hear this, you'll start noticing it everywhere. Sitting. Yes, something as simple as sitting too long can silently damage your blood flow. A study of over 2,500 adults above 60 found that those who sat for more than 6 hours a day had nearly 2x higher risk of poor blood flow and artery stiffness. And the scary part? Most of them believed they were resting and doing something good for their body. But this is where the danger hides. When you sit for long periods, your blood circulation slows down. Your vessels become less flexible. Your heart has to push harder, and over time, this creates the perfect environment for blockage. It's like water sitting still in a pipe. It starts to collect debris, build pressure, and eventually clog. Now imagine that happening inside your arteries. Slowly, silently, day after day. One of my patients, a 69-year-old man, spent most of his day watching television. He wasn't overeating. He wasn't doing anything extreme. But he was sitting for hours every single day. When we checked his circulation, it was significantly reduced. His heart was working harder than it should, and he had no idea. Now here's the shocking truth. Even if you eat healthy, even if you avoid harmful foods, if your blood isn't moving properly, your risk still increases. Because movement is what keeps your arteries alive. It keeps them flexible, responsive, open. Without it, they begin to stiffen. And stiff arteries are dangerous. They increase the risk of blockage, heart attack, and even heart failure over time. But here's the good news. You don't need intense exercise. You don't need complicated routines. In fact, just standing up, walking for a few minutes every hour can make a measurable difference. Simple movements, done consistently, can help restore better blood flow. A study showed that seniors who walked just 10 minutes, 3 times a day, improved circulation markers by nearly 30% within weeks. Think about that. Not hours, not extreme effort, just small, consistent action. But here's where most people fail. They start and then stop. They don't stay consistent. And your heart depends on consistency. Now let's connect everything you've learned so far. Blocked arteries are not caused by just one thing. It's a combination. Inflammation, poor blood flow, harmful habits, lack of movement, all working together silently. And if you ignore even one part, the risk remains. This is why so many people feel confused. They try one thing and expect everything to change. But your heart doesn't work that way. It responds to daily patterns. Now imagine this for a moment. Your arteries slowly opening, blood flowing smoothly, your heart working with ease. Instead of struggling, instead of fighting resistance, it moves freely. That's what you want. And it's possible if you act before it's too late. But here's the final warning. Waiting for symptoms is the biggest mistake, because by the time you feel something serious, the damage is already advanced. Heart attacks don't always give second chances, and silent heart damage lives up to its name. It stays hidden until it becomes dangerous. So don't wait for fear to force you into action. Take control now. Start small. Reduce inflammatory foods. Be mindful of what you consume daily. Add supportive foods like garlic in the right way. Move your body, even in simple ways. Protect your blood flow, because your heart is not asking for perfection. It's asking for consistency. And if you give it that, you give yourself a chance to avoid blockage, a chance to reduce your risk of heart attack, a chance to live with strength, energy, and confidence, even after 60. I'm Dr. Danzy, and this is Dr. Danzy Senior Health Tips. If this message opened your eyes even a little, don't ignore it. Subscribe and stay connected, because what you learn today can protect your tomorrow. And remember, your heart may be silent, but it is always speaking. The question is, are you listening?